Hey everybody! So I wanted to make this tutorial on OBS Studio, which I still believe is the most effective way to create a video for your students of you explaining a presentation or explaining something that's in your Google Classroom. Just because it is open source, it works on Windows, Linux, or Mac, and once you get your settings in place, it really isn't that hard to use. And in fact, to get the video into YouTube Studio is actually easier. So to get this application, if I just put into Google OBS Studio and search, the first option that shows up is the one that you want. And if I click on this, it sends me to this website, and I have these three different options. Now, I have a Windows computer, so I selected Windows. But if you have a Mac computer, you can download this, and it'll work the same for you. Now, when you download this, it's going to ask you if you're going to use this for recording or for streaming. You want to say that you're using it for recording. You can always add streaming later, but it's a much more complicated option, and you're most likely not going to need it, at least right now. So you just want to set it up for recording only. Once I set that up, I'm going to be presented with this screen, although you're not going to see this the way that I'm seeing it right now. Because when you open this up for the first time, down here, this part of this box of sources is going to be empty because this whole thing is completely configurable, which actually is nice. It means that you're not going to be limited in terms of certain settings. One of the programs I shared with you before was called Flashback Express, which is very easy to use, but it's very limited in what you can, in terms of what you can do with it. So when I open this up for the first time, in this box over here is going to be empty. I need to add my video, audio, and camera into here. So you can see I already have three options down here, but in order to add these three options there, down at the bottom you see this plus sign. If I click on that, the first thing I want to add is my audio input. So I click on that, I press OK, and it's going to find the microphone on your computer, and you just hit OK afterwards. So I press OK. It's going to find that. Right now I already have it mine selected, and I press OK, and it's going to add it. And I already have one here, so I'm going to get rid of that. So that'll add my audio. Then I want to add my display capture. So I add display capture, I click on this, I press OK, and it's going to look crazy right now, but I press OK, and that's going to capture everything that's on my monitor. So that's the only option I have for what kind of display I can add. Press OK, and again, I want to get rid of this because otherwise it's going to be very confusing, and that'll add my display, and that's my screen capture. So by default, it's going to be capturing my entire screen. To capture a window, there's another option for that, but for the purpose of the videos that you're going to be sending to students, the whole screen will work. So I add the display capture afterwards. Then the last thing that I add is the video capture. The video capture is my face. So that's my webcam. I press plus, again, I find video capture right here. Again, it's the last one you add. I select video capture, it's going to find my webcam, and I add that. Then I'll have these three things in this box. And you want to make sure that you have them ordered in this way, because this program is layered, which means that if I have this video capture below the display capture, you're not going to be able to see my face in the final video. So I want to add those three things and have them in this order. Once I have those there, I'm ready to create a video. But what's really cool about OBS Studio is you probably have noticed that I don't have a background behind me. My background's see-through. If you have a bright blue surface or bright green surface in your house, or a towel or a yoga mat, whatever it might be, you can get rid of the background, which is kind of a cool effect to add. The way that I did that, if I click, once I've added these three things here, if I click on the video capture device and I right click, I have this option for filters. If I click on that, I have added two different filters here, and this is down at the bottom, not here. So if we go down here to effect filters, I added chroma key and I added crop/pad. I can add those right down here. So I have chroma key there, and I have crop and pad there. So if I go to chroma key, that's how I'm having this effect in my background. Now there are a lot of options here. You can play around with them if you want to, but the only one that's really important is this one, the similarity. And that's how you get rid of your background. So I need to choose what kind of background I have. In this case, I have a blue yoga mat, which you'll see in a second. And then the similarity is the way that I get rid of that blue. In this case, I'm asking to take blue out of my video. So if I were to move this, you see the blue behind me appear, and that's a yoga mat that's behind me right now. And if I move this, if I adjust this slider, you'll see it's going to take more and more out until it eventually just takes me out, because it's going to take pretty much everything out. So I need to move this slider until I find a place that's a good balance between the two. For this video, I chose 230, but depending on your lighting, it might be something else. And whenever you're doing these, you want to make sure that your background is very bright. So you want to make sure that you have a good amount of light coming from this direction, facing you. So in this case, I'm facing a window. So I have a lot of bright white light facing me. So that's the only one you really need to play around with. Then the crop and pad, again, I add that from here. So I have chroma key there, crop and pad here. If I have the crop / pad, that's just to crop my image out. So you'll see I have 80 there right now. If I were to put that to 0, you can see the edge of where my yoga mat is not. So in here I can crop it to make sure that if you have a small surface that's that color or whatever, you can crop this out so that that doesn't show up. So I cropped the top a little bit because you could see the top of where I have the mat. Actually, no, you can't right now. But I cropped the top a little bit to make it a little bit closer. And I just did that so that with the distance my computer is away from me, that I'm nice and centered in my image down at the bottom. But that's how I got rid of the background. So once I've done that, and again, that's not necessary. You don't need to do that if you need to. It's just kind of a cool effect. Over here on the right-hand side, this is the only other, once you've set this up, every time you open the program, it's going to be just the way you set it up last time. So you shouldn't need to adjust it if you're filming in the same conditions. Then over here, you see that I have streaming, which don't worry about that. That's if you're going to be streaming through YouTube, which is a little bit more complicated. But here, I'm recording right now. So you can see this is capturing my audio, showing when I'm talking, when I'm not. And then over here, I have, for you, it would say start recording. So if I were to press stop recording, it's going to stop. And after I stop recording this, if I go here to my folder, or wherever your files are saved, your video files are saved on your computer, once I'm done recording, if I go here, this is going to show, for me, it's going to go to my videos. So once I press stop recording, the video is going to appear here. So you can see a bunch of different videos I've filmed here. It's going to appear there. And then after I have that video there, if I wanted to, I could upload that directly to YouTube. However, what I like to do a lot of the time is that when I start this, and if you want to, you can actually adjust shortcuts for this. So you could have it, the shortcut be like Shift G or something like that, and it'll start recording and have stop recording be something else. That way you could go to your presentation, press Shift G, and your recording will start there. So the students won't see any of this. But what I like to do is I film my video, and then when I'm done filming my video, I will use Windows Movie Maker, although there are many different applications like this. If you have a Mac, you can use iMovie. But I'll go to Windows Media Maker, or Movie Maker, and I'll add my video here. So let's say this is a video that I had from before. I go to Videos, upload one of these. This is one from earlier today. I upload that. And then this is a video I did before, and you can see these little bumps that are in here are my audio. And if I just simply wanted to remove the beginning and the end, I drag this here to where I can see the audio starting. I press Edit and Split, and then I delete that section. And I do the same thing over here at the end. You can see where the audio ends there. I press Split, I get rid of that section, and then my video is ready to go. And if you were to make errors in the middle, you can split on either end of that error and delete it. So let's say I have a gap right here. I could split it here, and then delete the middle section. And then once I'm done, I go to File, go to Save Movie, and because I'm uploading these to YouTube and so they look nice, I usually download them for high definition display. So I'll press this. You can decide where you want to save it and give it a title. And then after I've saved that, that's going to go to my desktop. And so these are some videos I did earlier today. This one's for Google Calendar. And once I have them on my desktop, I go to YouTube, and I go to YouTube Studio. Now I'm already in YouTube Studio. These are all videos that I've uploaded to share through Classroom. But if I go to Create and Upload Video, I can select the file that I just edited that is on my desktop. So I can choose one of these videos. The calendar one is right here. So I press Open. And then it's going to start uploading my video. You can see it's uploading here. And then depending on how long your video is, you can verify your account and make it longer than 15 minutes. But YouTube has a limited 15 minutes for its videos. Unless you verify your account, then it's infinite. And all you need to verify your account is just Google verify YouTube account. Go to this link down here, and you'll see that mine's already verified. So I press right here to verify your channel, click on that link, and my account's already verified. But for you to verify your account, it's just going to ask for a phone number. You'll receive a text. It's just making sure you're a human being and not a robot. And then you have to wait 24 hours and your account will be verified. And then you can upload videos as long as you want them to be. So once I am uploading this, and if I've been verified, I can upload a thumbnail. That's the picture that shows for your video for students or for anybody else. That's the picture that shows when they're actually looking at your video in like a search. Then down here, I just need to select that yes, it's made for kids, or no, it's not. Just say no, it's not for this one. And then I don't need to worry about video elements. You don't need to worry about this. And then invisibility. I want this to be unlisted. That means that people cannot go on YouTube and find my video. It means they need the link in order to watch it. So I press unlisted, and I press save, and then it's going to get uploaded there. Now, I've already uploaded. I'm going to delete this upload because I don't want that. I've actually already uploaded this video, and it's right here. And so if I press these three little, but once I've uploaded it here, if I press the three little buttons here, options, and I press get shareable link, with this link, I can then add it to my classroom, and that's what I've done. So if I go to my classroom, and I go to 11th grade, let's say, I've been doing this for every one of my assignments. So I have been giving them the presentation, but I've also been, this is a presentation that they have for today, I've been giving them the presentation as usual, but I also, and the worksheet that they need to do, but I also include the video. So if I go into this assignment, they have the presentation, which they can view if they want to. This is the document that they need to complete. And then I have the YouTube video, which I've attached here for them to watch. Now to attach that, again, next to my video, press the three little buttons, get shareable link, go to the assignment, and in edit, when I'm in Classroom, I press add, link, paste my link there, and oh, this is the calendar tutorial, but it adds the video to here, and then students can access it, and they can only access it through that link. So that's just kind of an easy way of making videos and uploading them to your class. Honestly, if you just practice with OBS a little bit, it really isn't that hard to use, and once you get it set up, it's always set up, and you just need to tweak little things about it. But if you do not have a video editor and you want a video editor, I have the downloader for Windows Movie Maker right here, but I have it in Google Drive. So if you want this application, which is honestly one of the easiest applications to use for video editing, I have other ones too. I use VSDC sometimes, which I have here. But this is free. I can share the installer with you, and then you can download it on your computer if you have Windows. And it's just a really easy, simple way of editing videos if you need that. So just let me know and I can share it with you. And then here, the free video editor, if you have, this is a little bit more complicated. If you have Windows, I would just use this. And if you have a Mac, then you can use iMovie. But regardless, just let me know if you have any questions about creating videos. And one of the reasons why I made this is because I've noticed that people have been talking about using Screencastify or using Screencast-O-Matic or using a lot of different ones that are either Chrome extensions or are different programs online. But the problem with them is that some of them are free right now because of coronavirus, but they're US companies. And we don't know how long they're going to be free for. And you want to make sure that an app you're learning right now is going to be an app that you're able to use in the future. And the apps that OBS, for example, Windows Movie Maker, and sharing those to YouTube, all of those are free. And it's not going to change in the future. So it makes more sense to use an application that you're going to have access to in the future. In addition to that, things like Screencastify or Filmora work really well in the beginning, but the free versions of those things, Screencastify, for example, you're very limited in terms of how many videos you can make and how long your videos can be. And so that may not be a problem right now, but it could be a problem in the future. And so for that reason, I'd recommend using software like this. But regardless, let me know if you have any questions, and I hope that you guys have a great week.